Hi, I'm Carmen ANDERT with the Math Department here at GRCC. For today's MathCast, we're going to talk about solving rational equations. First, let's talk about the multiplication property of equality. This property says that if both sides of an equation are multiplied by the same non-zero quantity, then the equation remains true. In symbols, if a equals b and c is not 0, then a times c equals b times c. For example, if I want to solve x over 5 equals -3, I want to multiply both sides by 5. So 5 times x over 5 equals 5 times -3. Then on the left side, the 5's cancel. And on the right side, we get -15. So we've solved and figured out that x equals -15. Now, this works because the thing I multiplied by on both sides, the 5, was not 0. Now let's talk about solving a rational equation. When we're solving a rational equation, we need to clear the fractions by multiplying by a variable expression. We call this variable expression the least common denominator, or the LCD for short. But if the LCD is equal to 0, this step is invalid because we cannot multiply both sides by 0. In practice, what this means is that we may need to eliminate one or more than one of your possible solutions. Here's an example. Let's solve the equation 2 plus 5 over x minus 3 equals 15 over x squared minus 3x. The first thing I notice is that on the right side of this equation, I can factor an x out of the denominator. So we get x times x minus 3. Now we can multiply both sides of the equation by x times x minus 3 as long as that expression is not equal to 0. That means that x cannot be 0 and x cannot equal 3. So when I'm solving this equation, x equals 0 and x equals 3 cannot be solutions. Okay, so now we're going to take our equation. We're going to multiply both sides by x times x minus 3. Here's our original equation, and I'm going to multiply each term by the LCD. So we have 2 times x minus 3 plus 5 over x minus 3 times x minus 3 equals 15 over x minus 3 times x minus 3. Now I can simplify. The first term is 2x minus 3. And the second term, the x minus 3's cancel, so we get 5x. And on the right side, the x cancels and the x minus 3 factor cancels, so we just get 15. Now I'm continuing to solve like a regular quadratic equation. I'm going to distribute the 2x. We get 2x squared minus 6x plus 5x equals 15. And then because it's a quadratic equation, I'm going to gather all the terms on the left side. So I have 2x squared minus x minus 15 equals 0. Now I want to factor this. So I can factor this as 2x plus 5 times x minus 3. Okay, so we have 2x plus 5 times x minus 3 equals 0, and I set each factor to 0. So 2x plus 5 equals 0. That means that x equals -5/2. Taking the second factor equal to 0, x minus 3 equals 0, means that x equals 3. But remember what we noticed earlier, that x equals 0 and x equals 3 cannot be solutions to this equation. So I need to eliminate the x equals 3 that I got. We call x equals 3 an extraneous value in this situation, and then the equation has only the one solution, x equals -5/2. I hope this has helped you figure out how to solve rational equations. If you do have any questions, please visit the GRCC Tutoring Lab or ask your teacher.